You're watching Africa 54. I'm Vincent McCory in Washington. Now, terrorism and migration are hot-button issues for the U.S. voters this year's presidential contest. Now, between Republican Donald Trump and Democrat Hillary Clinton, the race could come down to a choice between change versus the establishment. VOA national correspondent Jim Malone has more.
Democrat Hillary Clinton campaigning in Pennsylvania with Vice President Joe Biden. Clinton has surged in recent polls, in part because of growing voter concern about Donald Trump's fitness to be president.
There is no doubt Donald Trump is temperamentally unfit and totally unqualified to be President of the United States and Commander-in-Chief.
Oh, thank you.
Recent polls show that about a third of Americans believe Trump has the right temperament to be president, while nearly 6 in 10 believe Clinton does. But those same polls also show many voters do not trust Clinton, primarily because of lingering questions about her use of a private email server while Secretary of State. Trump tried to turn the tables on Clinton during a recent foreign policy speech in Ohio.
Incident after incident proves again and again Hillary Clinton lacks the judgment, as said by Bernie Sanders, stability and temperament, and the moral character to lead our nation.
Trump could benefit from the public's desire for change. Nearly two-thirds say the country is on the wrong track. But both candidates suffer from a negative image in the polls, says Gallup pollster Frank Newport.
Donald Trump has about 63% of the American public who, when we ask them, say their opinion of him is negative. Hillary Clinton right now has about 56% of Americans who say the opinion of her is negative. So her unfavorables aren't quite as high.
Trump's temperament has emerged as a key issue in recent weeks after a series of controversies sparked by some of his questionable claims, comments, and attacks. Many Republicans want Trump to tone down his rhetoric and focus on Clinton, says analyst Scott Faulkner.
He now needs to make the turn, and it isn't meaning moderating. It doesn't mean pulling punches. It just means he needs to broaden his appeal.
I don't want to change. Everyone talks about, oh, well, you're going to pivot. I don't want to pivot. I mean, you have to be you.
Clinton has built a steady lead in recent national and key state polls, and Trump's best chance to reset his campaign may not come until the first presidential debate in late September. Jim Malone, VOA News, Washington.
Journalists covering the U.S. presidential campaign have been pretty busy this year, to say the least. In Washington recently, an annual conference focuses on the achievements of black journalists, several of whom were recognized for their outstanding work at this year's event. Channels television correspondent Maria Bird has more.
The National Association of Black Journalists Salute to Excellence award ceremony will highlight those black journalists who have done amazing things in 2016.
40 years ago, 44 people, men and women of color, gathered at this hotel and NABJ was born. In this very hotel, their mission in part was this: strengthening ties among black journalists.
The largest Salute to Excellence affair in the history of the organization, with more than 800 people.
Turner Sports doesn't just talk the talk, they walk the walk. I see people who look like me when I go to Turner Sports. When I am on assignment and I'm in the truck on a remote at a game, I see people who look like me as producers and directors and ADs and research people.
I heard Mike talk about the value that he thought there was in having there be a place for black journalists to come together and support each other and to network and to build with each other, where I realized that this wasn't something optional and it wasn't something that can wait.
Attendees at this event did not shy away from the issues surrounding how Africa is portrayed in media.
I'm definitely looking for opportunities that will allow me to tell stories about Africa, about my home country, and to really explain to the American public who Nigerians are, who are Africans, and what are some of the things that they care about, what are some of the issues that matter most to them.
This event not only gave us a glimpse into the best in black media, but it also highlighted the African diaspora. From Washington, Maria Bird, Channels Television News.
Now, the Fab Lab movement continues to sweep across Africa. These digital workshops, including one in Ivory Coast for children, where kids are learning to use open source software and build new devices from electronic junk, what's called e-waste. Emily Eob has the story from Abidjan.
Some of these children are just 10 years old, but they are already learning the ABCs of digital animation. This is the Baby Lab, a play on words with Baby, Abidjan's nickname. The lab aims to bridge the digital divide in one of the city's poorest neighborhoods, Abobo. The lab was created 2 years ago by a few IT engineers who also volunteered to teach.
Digital technology is still reserved for the elite. We think it belongs to everyone. It is something everyone should master, especially coding, which is the language of the 21st century.
Similar Fab Labs, or fabrication laboratories, have opened up across the continent, including in nearby Burkina Faso, Togo, Mali, and Senegal. The Baby Lab received donations from a French bank and the French government to buy computers, but it remains mostly self-funded. The philosophy of the lab is circular economy. Nothing is wasted, everything can be transformed.
Today I am dismantling these hard drives, which are broken and cannot be repaired, to make clocks.
The clocks will then be sold to help finance the Baby Lab. Computer frames turn into furnitures, keyboard keys turn into bracelets, or jerry cans turn into low-cost computers. The Baby Lab wants to inspire children to think out of the box and work together. When 12 years old Awa Traoré walked into the lab last year, she had little knowledge of electronics. She has no computer at home. Now she assembles this electric car in just a few minutes.
I learned to create my own website using HTML. I learned electronic music. I want to be an IT engineer and teach children electronic music everywhere in the world.
Gecko says the next step is to create a regional platform so they can collaborate with the other French-speaking Fab Labs. Emily Yob for VOA News in Abidjan.
It's time now for another break. Before we go, a reminder to visit our website, channelstv.com, for all the latest information, day or night. You can also find us at youtube.com/channelsweb. Still to come on Africa 54. Semi-pro soccer teams from South Sudan holding a special tournament in Kenya to promote peace in their country. Stay with us.
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. They tell you what people are talking about. So for an in-depth look at the stories trending high on social media, turn to #VOA. It's not your typical talk show. From politics to pop culture, #VOA brings in the people leading the conversation, engages the audience, and gets answers to your questions. #VOA. Smart talk for smart people.
Welcome back. Now, the story of a special soccer tournament in Kenya. It featured 4 teams made up of South Sudanese youth putting on the games to promote peace and security in their homeland. Lenny Rovaga has the story from Nairobi.
This is the 22 Brothers FC, a South Sudanese semi-professional soccer team based in Nairobi. Players drilled ahead of the peace tournament. Most of the team members are students in and around Nairobi. Team captain Richard Deng says they hope to blur the communal divisions underlying the civil war back home in South Sudan.
Almost 64 tribes of South Sudan are represented here. So 22 brothers unite us all. We say we are 22 brothers not because we are 22 from the team. It's because we as 22 brothers, we consider ourselves 11 players. The other team that's the next opponent, they are 11. When we meet in the field, we are 22. So we are brothers in the field.
His team took on the young PCOSS FC, the Pentecostal Church of South Sudan Football Club. Before the match began, officials laid out the rules of fair play. Conflict Transformation for Development is the organization sponsoring the tournament. Co-founder Michael Toot describes the games as a metaphor for life. Tensions have risen in South Sudan following renewed fighting in the capital last month.
The current situation in the country requires young people to come together. Instead of soccer alone, explore other avenues like advocating for peace.
Some of the players fled South Sudan for Kenya in 2013 when civil war broke out in their country. Others were born here, their parents displaced by the previous conflicts. Most of the fans at the tournament were also South Sudanese.
When we come together, we look at each other as brothers. We forget about what is there back in our country. And there's nothing like segregating each other, maybe Nuer or Dinka, no. We just see each other. In fact, we are using the common language that we are using now in Kenya, for Kiswahili or English.
The tournament wrapped up on Saturday. In an upset, the Young Stars FC won. They were the team with the least resources and the least amount of practice time. It was quite a victory, but people celebrating here say the ultimate prize will be a lasting peace for South Sudan. Lenny Rovaga for VOA News in Nairobi.
Well, the Summer Olympic Games are over in Rio and the athletes and tourists have gone home. But any trip to the former Brazilian capital would not be complete without seeing the iconic Christ the Redeemer statue that has overlooked the city for decades. Park Brewer tells us more.
The Art Deco statue made of reinforced concrete and soapstone has overlooked Rio now for 85 years.
I know for every day it's media of 3,000, 4,000 each day. In high season and low season, it's 2,000 and a half.
Christ the Redeemer is located about 20 minutes from Rio's popular Copacabana beach. A popular way to reach the top is by tram, which costs about $21. Once there, the experience is priceless, says Jacqueline de Mello, who is the daughter of the owners of the management company which oversees the site.
Because we can see the whole city 360 degrees, and now since 2007 it was the seventh wonder world, so everybody wants to come here to see.
The tram going to the top is older than the monument itself. The first one went into service in 1884. It negotiates 700 vertical meters to the peak of Corcovado Mountain, where the gigantic statue is perched. The tram ride is an adventure itself. Upon arrival, you have to climb several flights of steps, then finally the imposing architectural work appears.
It's very beautiful. It is one of the wonders of the world. It is very nice.
It's so pretty, and there's like lots of things to visit, and like the view's really pretty, so.
Christ the Redeemer is 30 meters high, not including its 8-meter pedestal. Its arms stretch 28 meters across. At the top, you can see virtually all of Rio de Janeiro, the famed Maracanã Stadium, Ipanema Beach, and downtown. But it's the majesty of the sculpture, designed by Polish-French sculptor Paul Landowski, that enthralls visitors.
The truth is, it is a beauty. It's impressive. We were very anxious to see it, and we are very grateful to be here.
And, of course, no one leaves this iconic place without taking with them the proof that they were here.
Well, VOA's Park Brewer wrapping up 2 weeks of the Rio Games. And that's our show for today. Now, be sure to watch Africa 54 throughout the week on the VOA website at voaafrica.com. Just go to the programs tab at the top of the page. I'm Vincent McCory, signing off from Washington.
Well, we certainly look forward to bringing you another show next week. Check out our channel's website too. That's channelstv.com for all our local news and program information anytime, day or night. I'm Cynthia Are. Thanks for watching and enjoy the rest of your day.